All right. What's the latest and greatest in tech applications tools for government contracting? I'm Rick Howard, former government acquisitions officer. I managed over $82 billion in contracts for the federal government. Then started my consulting business in 2019, helping companies sell to the government, which led to me training sales teams and finally launching GovClose, which is a training platform for sales executives, companies, professionals looking to break into government contracting, land a job, start consulting businesses, or just sell to the government. So today, we're going to be talking about the different tools, applications that I use for government contracting that you can use for government contracting. You can feel free to insert your comments and anything that you want to ask questions about while we're doing this. And I will get to them as I can as we're going through the video. Actually, it's great. By the way, today is Friday. It is June 27th. And I know everyone's getting ready for the weekend here. So I just got off our GovClose coaching call. So we have just under a couple hundred people in the program now, great professionals. We have current government contracting officers. We have people with federal experience. We have professionals. We have doctors. We have a lot of people in the program that are selling to the government, that have jobs selling to the government. So it was good to talk to them before coming in here. We just talked about, hey, what are you guys using? What tools are you using? And compare that to what I'm using. And by the way, you can put, if you have like a great tool that you're using for some aspect of government contracting, because there's a lot to it, throw that in the comment. I might not get to review it today, but I may here in the future. Now, just because of our presence, and by the way, whether you guys are, hey there, LinkedIn user, happy to catch a lot. Hey, I'm glad you're here. It's great. I thought you wrote happy hour, LinkedIn happy hour. So it's almost happy hour in my household, in the Howard household. So for you guys that are just tuning in, we're going to be going over applications in tech that I use for government contracting that some of my clients use. But I wanted to point out that because of our YouTube presence, and you may be watching us on YouTube or LinkedIn or maybe even, Twitch or X, but most of the people watching are going to be on YouTube and LinkedIn. Because of our YouTube presence in particular, we do get a lot of companies that reach out that are building tools for government contracting, that have already built them, some that are new. So today I'm going to look at a couple of things. First, we're going to take a look at one of those new tools. And I'm just going to do it live. I played with it a little bit, but I'm going to go through it on the video here so you guys can take a look at it and tell me what you think. That one's all about teaming and subcontracting, things of that nature. So we'll see what you think, what needs to be improved, what's great. We'll take a look at some of the AI tools that I'm using that you can use. Some I have looked at on our channel long ago. Some I haven't. Some are brand spanking new. And then I'm also going to get into just some of the more traditional tools that aren't designed specifically for government contracting, but I use all the time. And I want to put those down too, because most people revert to, hey, the new tool for proposal writing or the new tool for finding opportunities. But those are great. And there are some that are amazing, right? And they're doing a really good job. But there are some AI tools that are not specific to GovCon that I think you guys could use that could save you a lot of time, a lot of time. So I use them all the time. You could tell me whether you like them or not. Some you've heard of, some you probably haven't heard of. I'm going to touch on a few tools here today that are not intuitively for government contracting. And I'm going to show you how I use them. And some of these I use every single day, right? So granted, although the theme of our channel is government contracting, I think you'll be able to use a lot of the tools that I present here for other things as well, just to help you with work. But I'm going to talk about how I use them in government contracting. So there'll be a couple of ones that are a little bit, you wouldn't expect to see them during this review, but I'm going to get into them for sure. Oh, I got to hit my as usual, I got to hit my go live button here for Instagram. So they just missed the first part of that, but that's okay. We're covering tools. And then towards the end, I'm going to talk a little bit about, okay, lots of new tools out there, lots of AI tools, but what are the ones that you just keep going back to, Rick, and what do you use them for? Because there's a few of those too. There's a couple of foundational things, applications, tools that I think, at least for the foreseeable future, are going to be hard to get away from. We'll talk about those. So if you guys are ready to jump into it, I'm ready to jump into it here. We've got some people watching here. Hey, John, how's it going? We got ARW Solutions. What's going down? Well, who else is on here? We got a LinkedIn user. Oh, we got Ross. Okay, Ross, I see what you're saying. You're somehow protecting your profile there. That's cool. Using, you're using Perplexity. Awesome. Hey, and by the way, that's one that I haven't used. So that's one that I would love to dig into. There's other things, by the way, you can throw anything in the comments here. I'll get to it, but there's a few tools that I want to look at that I haven't looked at yet that I really want to dive into, and we'll get into those as well. The first one we are going to look at, and I'm going to share my screen here. So I'm going to go through them with you. The first one's called Teaming Pro. So I got an email here from the CEO of the company a couple of weeks ago and wanted me to check it out. And I said, hey, look, I'm going to go through my tech stack and different applications and tools during a live session here on Friday. And so if, that's something you want me to look at, in real time with everybody, I'll do that. And he said, yeah, absolutely. Go for it. So he set me up. By the way, I'm currently not sponsored by any of the tools that I'm showing today, although I have had affiliate agreements with some of them and free accounts, things like that. So this, I was just given a trial, but I think anybody can go on to Teaming Pro and do a trial license of this if they want to check it out, right? So what I believe this tool is for is to help you team with other companies. So again, now this one, guys, I'm just checking it out in real time with you. I have not used it yet. So we're just going to take a look at what some of the features are here and what we think it can actually do. So we've got this block here for referral networks and matches. And it looks like here we have a place for opportunities and contract value, right? So I'm assuming that I can go in here and I can search through, looks here, I can go through companies, I can go through opportunities. Let's just click on this. So this is a opportunity here. It looks like I might be able to add that to my pipeline. And let's see here. I can view this might be a contract with an actual company. So I'm going to actually do this here. Let's look at what pops up when I'm looking at opportunities. And again, guys, this is called Teaming Pro. This is going to be the only one that I'm reviewing in real time. The other ones I have all used and I'm very familiar with. So this one's just going to be a little bit different here. And if you have, by the way, I'm blocking this. I do this every time. If you guys want me to, if there's anything in here that you want me to take a look at, just let me know as I'm going through it, and I will. But I believe the premise here is it's going to take a look. If I'm looking at an opportunity, it should be able to help me find companies a little bit faster that maybe have some experience in those companies. So let's see here. This is just looking at all agencies. So I could probably search for specific opportunities, I'm assuming. When does this one due? This one is due, this is an NIH one. So maybe sometimes these NIH opportunities are just, existing in real time here, or we'll have, a 6-month window where you can submit a proposal or something. So let's see what happens if I click on it. All right. So it's giving me the agency. It's giving me an IDV reference here. I think, okay. So, and it's giving me the company. So I'm not sure it did what I thought it was going to do. So, and apologize if I'm if I'm butchering the way this works here, but looks like I can search through contracts as well. So I would imagine this is going to actually pull up different companies. Let's see here. I can go Department of Defense. I can go contract type. That's not pulling anything up. Still not pulling anything up. Interesting. Well, guys, let's get back to that one. But it's called Teaming Pro. You can check it out. I'm sure that I'm kind of butchering this here. That's all right. That's all part of reviewing these applications and tools. I'm going to come back to that one. We're just going to keep this one flowing here. All right. Next one is Govly. So Govly, this is an interesting tool, and this one ties right into some of what we've been talking about on our past live episodes. Govly, remember, well, you may not remember if you didn't watch it, but I was talking about contract vehicles, right? And category management. So the government has these vehicles. Again, this isn't to help you. This is to help the government speed things up on their end. It actually takes a little bit longer on yours, but you apply for a GSA schedule, right? Takes you 6 months to a year. You want to get on something like NASA Soup. Again, that could take you a year. You have to wait for an onboarding opportunity. These are contract vehicles. And the thing is, you don't see, this is the little secret about GSA. The GSA opportunities, you usually aren't going to see them on sam.gov. You're going to see these GSA opportunities on one of the GSA bid boards, right? Or you'll get them sent to you from GSA. So how do I find these? Same thing with some of these big contract vehicles. Remember, you've already technically competed to be on these contracts, and then a crap load of work, pardon my français, but a crap load of solicitations and contracts are going to go to these contract vehicles that have already been competed. And you, the small business owner or the sales executive, you're not even going to see these unless you are already on that vehicle. Right. So how do I find those opportunities? Well, Govly actually does a really good job solving that. You can go to my YouTube channel at GovClose. Just type GovClose in on YouTube if you want to see the interview I did with the CEO of Govly. But this basically, you can go in here as a small business and you can search through opportunities that are only going out to GSA schedule holders or going out to companies with NASA Soup. Now, I only have a free account here. They're not sponsoring this or anything, but essentially you can see here, there's a drop-down menu of these different contract vehicles, right? And so I could search by keyword and some other means. What's on Seaport? What's on ITES, CIO3? I could see, look, GSA, Stars 3, Oasis, Vets 2, Polaris. So I can search through a lot of these contract vehicles, and that is not something, these are opportunities that many of them you are not going to see on sam.gov. And the way they do this, if I understand correctly, is you are essentially being partnered with a prime through this site. And through that partnership, the prime is letting you in on the different opportunities to see if you could potentially partner with them and, go after them. Because that's the whole key. And that's what we have to remember here is, if you don't have GSA and I find out that this, there's a GSA, there's an opportunity that just came out on the GSA contract that I could bid on. You can't even bid on it unless you have GSA, right? So you actually going to need to partner with a company that has that. That's what this is really good for. So again, this is more of a subcontracting targeted website, unless you're a prime, because you can go on here as a prime too. So, for instance, if you're a prime and you have multiple vehicles and you just need a way of being matched with quality subcontractors, I guess you could do the reverse here. But I believe the main target is going to be businesses that are subcontractors looking for primes and looking to maybe get on opportunities that are on some of these vehicles. And again, that's Govly. So if you're a subcontractor, this could be a very powerful tool for you to use. Remember, the first tool I looked at too, and again, I don't want that to be a reflection of this. This is what I was trying to review in real time. It's a newer tool that someone reached out to me. Again, this is going to be used for subcontracting and teaming mainly, right? And so you're going to be searching, whether it's for opportunities or you're going to be searching, potentially for companies. And this is a way of taking a look and seeing if, potentially a company has past performance in the same agency that the opportunity came from. Because that's really what you're looking for, folks. If you're trying to subcontract, you want to make sure that, again, let's just go through what would I do? What do I do when I am taking a client and I want them to team up with somebody or team up with maybe a company that has some past performance that they don't, or, try to draft them to win that contract. I'm finding the opportunity early and I'm establishing contact with a program office. That's the first thing I'm doing. And then the next thing I'm doing is I'm going to USA Spending, and which you've seen me do a billion of these videos on usaspending.gov. But I'm researching. I'm finding companies that have done work with, let's say the opportunity was with, like, who's this? What's this one right here? This one's with the Department of Interior. So I would find someone that has this survey software that already has contracts with Department of Interior, and then I'd be reaching out to those companies. And the message is, look, I've got an opportunity. I'm talking with the office. I can do part of the work. I need someone else to do some of the work as well. That's going to set up a teaming agreement potentially. And companies are going to want to meet with you if you're bringing them something, right? They're not going to want to meet with you if you're spamming them. So if your strategy has been, hey, I'm going to look at all these companies that are selling to the government and I'm just going to like spam 1,000 of them and see if they need what I'm selling, then you're not going to get very far. Okay. Nobody wants those emails. But if you do it this way, you're bringing opportunity. And this Teaming Pro, this is going to be a faster way to do some of that research. Govly, I know you're going to see opportunities that you just wouldn't be able to find otherwise unless you actually had the contract vehicle. So, all right, great. And I'm going to type a test here into the comments just to make sure mine is going to. I've got comments from some of you guys here. Make sure all the systems are firing. If you want me to spend any more time on some of these, I certainly can. We took a little bit of a look at Govly. You can go to the Govly website, govly.com, if you want to. Now, this is something that I'm using, and it is not for government contracting, but since I'm using it so much, I thought I would just bring it up. And this one is called Whisperflow. Now, Whisperflow, what did I just do? What Whisperflow does is basically I can just click a button and it will record whatever I'm saying. And that to me is extremely, extremely valuable. And it saves me a lot of time. And I know there's like, for instance, there's some tools and stuff where you can like maybe click a button and maybe record something, but I can do this. I just have one button. It doesn't matter what I'm in. It automatically, I'll just show you how it works, I suppose. Let me go to sam.gov, right? So if I'm at sam, again, this is not a government contracting tool. This is just something that helps me. I use it for everything. I use it for email. So if I'm in sam.gov, and let's just say, I'm just going to give you an example here. This is probably not something I would search for, but I just clicked a button and see that recording thing at the bottom of, maybe you don't see it, but there's a little bar on my screen and it's recording everything I say. I'm just going to lift it up now. And you can see here, just everything that I said, it just plugged it in there. Right. And I do the same thing if I'm, if I am writing an email, it's very rare that I actually type anything anymore. Here, look, I'm in a spreadsheet here, right? So put it out here. And this block, I'm just going to test Whisperflow. And of course, we're only seeing part of it here because there we go. And it doesn't just take what you say and plug it in here. It actually does some of the editing and the context for you as well. And I think that's what's really valuable about this, right? If I wanted to write a paragraph on grammar as it's applied to government contracting, and I'm pressing the button for Whisperflow right now, and I just leave the button up, see, it just put the whole thing right in there. So again, Whisperflow, for anyone that is interested in that, it's not that much I pay for it, but you can do a free trial. If you do, I would tell you this, again, I'm not affiliated with them. I will say though, that if you use this, there's no way you're not going to buy it after you do the trial, because it does not matter what you're using. Doesn't matter what application. It doesn't matter what you could be in Word, you could be in PowerPoint, you could be doing an email, you could be in sam.gov, whatever. You can just click a button and then it just records everything you're saying and puts it in there, and it applies some limited grammar. It's not changing. It's not changing the meaning or the context of what you're saying, but it's cleaning it up a little bit, if that makes sense. And it's just so easy that, I don't know, it's way easier than typing. So for me, anyway, Whisperflow. And of course, another place for this is if you're using it, and well, hey, I'm going to ChatGPT, right? Because this is ChatGPT. And again, this is not a government contracting tool, right? Not specifically, but how many of you guys are actually using this for what you're doing in the government contracting space? I know I certainly am. I'm using it for everything. It doesn't matter. Like if I'm, one thing I would tell you not to do is don't just try to let it write your proposals for you, but there are certainly proposal writing tools that you can use. ChatGPT, that's kind of connected to ChatGPT. A lot of them know that. Like, meaning when I say a lot of them know that, I mean a lot of government offices can tell if you're just ChatGPTing your proposals. But there's so much more that you could do with this. You could do, research for this. I could say, I could take a typical question that might come in one of these, like, hey, ChatGPT, what tools should I use if I want to understand how much the Department of Defense spends on roofing contractors each year? And I also want to know what you think about the odds of a service disabled veteran-owned small business succeeding selling roofing services to the DoD. So you can, by the way, I just pressed Whisperflow button. So I'm going to Whisperflow this whole, I should have called this brief Whisperflow. So again, I think everybody at this point is familiar with ChatGPT. But look, so now it's giving me, hey, it's telling me to look at Federal Procurement Data System, USA Spending, DoD Office of Small Business, DoD spend on roofing contractors. Look at this. It's actually telling me what the FY23 obligations were. I don't believe that number, though. That's wrong. So look, hey guys, it ain't perfect, right? So we've got to cross-check this. Meaning, okay, wait, no, they're not saying that DoD's total contract obligations in FY23. I think that's wrong. Roofing is one small portion. Okay, so they are telling you it's one small portion of the spend. Odds for SDVOSB, again, good or bad, what's it saying? Mandate 3% of federal contracting goes to SDVOSBs. And they're telling you that the DoD earned an A because they probably exceeded that. They're telling you about the challenges. They're giving you some strategies. Smaller SDVOSBs can succeed, joint ventures. They didn't quite tell me anything about the VA, which is where they should be focusing. But again, that's me. I asked it about the DoD. For anyone with an SDVOSB, I'm always looking at the VA. And then you can ask it, what kind of advice, what would retired Lieutenant Colonel Rick Howard tell a SDVOSB business that was selling construction services as far as agency focus and steps to take? I don't know if this is going to be able to answer that question or not, but it'll give me something. Focus your efforts on these DoD agencies: U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Not wrong, but it's still not telling me anything, the VA. But yeah, USA Spending, sam.gov, go local first. It's okay. But look, guys, again, don't overlook the tools that are tried and true, right? So you can use this for a lot of different things. My only real advice for you here is make sure that you are double checking everything. ChatGPT gets it wrong a lot, but it is a great starting point. It can be a great starting point for anything. Even if let's say you are writing a proposal, right? And you just can't get that opening, your executive summary correct. Take what you have, put it into ChatGPT, or you could speak it in using Whisperflow and see what it says. It can give you a little bit of direction, right? Sticklers on certification, that ChatGPT. I'm reading a comment here. John, what do you mean? I don't have any alcohol in that cup, folks, not yet. John, I don't know if you mean like CMMC certifications, but whether you meant that or not, I'm going to talk about it. I would not go and plug solicitations into ChatGPT. You need to be really careful about what you put into ChatGPT or any of these AI engines, especially with the DoD getting, CMMC is a topic that's really big right now, and controlled unclassified information. If you just to understand, you could take things that seem unclassified and maybe kind of arbitrary, like the information that's in a solicitation, and combine that with potentially something that your company does, and combine that with maybe another piece of information from the government, and you may be creating a document that has controlled unclassified information in it. So you do have to be careful, but I use this more not to, teach me about, a certain technology that the government wants, but more to, hey, how do I flow a little bit better? How can I be a little bit more concise? One of the challenges with proposal writing, for instance, is for those of you that don't know, often when you put a proposal, send a proposal into the government. By the way, if you don't know me, I'm a former acquisitions officer, and now out of the Air Force, I run govclose.com and dodcontract.com, and we have the GovClose YouTube channel. And we do a lot on LinkedIn as well, as far as training and helping companies sell to the government. When a proposal comes in to the government, a lot of companies assume that the people reviewing it will read the proposal in its entirety. And I want you to understand that that is not always the case, and often not the case. Meaning, you're going to have different sections of that proposal, and you're going to be able to see when you're writing it what the grading criteria is going to be. What is going to be graded on there. You're going to have different sections. You'll have a technical section, and even the technical section might be broken up into different parts, right? Now, you're going to address all of the questions that the government wants you to in that proposal. But here's the thing that a lot of people don't get. You're writing an executive or maybe like a opening executive summary for the government. Maybe you have a closing paragraph or two at the end of that proposal. You may have a section with your past performance in it, or you may have a section where you're trying to build credibility. Often that proposal is going to get split 7 ways from Sunday and given to different people to grade the specific sections that are going to be graded, right? So it might go to an engineer to grade one. The contracting officer might grade the other. So meaning that you need to treat each section almost like a mini proposal, because if it's necessary for me to read your opening summary and your closing to have the full context to understand your company's ability to solve a government problem, then you may be losing points, or you may be losing that contract completely. So my point is, you might be able to take a section that that you normally wouldn't put any of your executive, your summarizing, your past performance in, say, hey, how can I work that into a question like this? How do I answer that and make it so the person reviewing this gets the full context of our company, so they know that we're credible and we have past performance and we can really do this. So again, ChatGPT is great with stuff like that, but always double check it. It's made mistakes even as we have been reviewing it. Hey, what would this review be without a sales pitch for GovClose? Only to say this is the CRM that I use for selling to the government. You can use whatever CRM that you want. What I would say is just make sure you can know the total value of your pipeline, know what your close rate is going to be, know how many opportunities you are, know where they're coming from, know what pipelines are generating the actual wins, okay? And then you want to have the steps built in to your CRM. And what I mean by that is, if I look at here, see, I have a GSA pipeline. If I go to my if I have a sources sought pipeline, right, I want specific steps that my sales team can follow. So I know that, hey, okay, are we establishing teaming partners? Did you email the government POC? Did you write the response? Did you submit? Here's an important one that I don't know how many companies miss. Did you confirm receipt of the US government? One of our students, we just got off a GovClose sales call. Our GovClose community is really what really makes our certification program awesome, in my opinion. We have professionals in there that are really smart and they're doing great things. And one of them has a client, and the client's like, we don't know if we have to talk to a lawyer. Like we submitted 20 proposals, and we feel like we're not being seen. They're not even responding to them. And so what I would tell them is, again, by the way, you can rebuild like this type of pipeline in whatever you're using now. If you submit an RFI or even a proposal to the government and you don't get a, hey, we got it, which was the case with this company, you have to assume that they never received it. Right. So again, this is just one of many, many steps. Bottom line is you need to have a lot of opportunities when you build that makes sense, that you can close when you're building your pipeline for the government. And you need to be able to move those around, and they need to be in steps that make sense and are sequential. And if you have a team, that team needs to be able to understand during your weekly call what comes next. Hey, I submitted a source of sought. It's not just on to the next thing. Now I need a meeting. I'm using that source of sought to get a meeting with the government. I'm trying to build that relationship, right? I'm trying to influence this opportunity legally in the market research phase, and I need to be able to manage all of this. So have a CRM, but this is the one I use, and I'm sure there's plenty of great ones out there. Let's see here. John, switching my focus John has a few comments to roofing contractor services. Sticklers on certification for ChatGPT. They mentioned certification a few times. SDVOB, SDVOSB, make sure your SDV is compliant. Yeah, I mean, depending on the opportunity, depending on what you're going for, there's certifications and compliance and a bunch of things that you do have to pay attention to, for sure. By the way, there's software you can use just for compliance. I'm going to get off of this. Guys, I know I've gone from like really specific government contracting stuff like Teaming Pro for finding subcontracting opportunities and teaming partners to Govly, which can help us identify opportunities on contract vehicles that we don't have. Then I started getting more into AI, Whisperflow, which I use, which I don't even type anymore. I just use Whisperflow. I just push a button and it takes everything I'm saying and it puts it down there. And see, it even says it auto-adds. It really is. It's probably one of the best things that I've spent money on here because it affects everything. Then we went into ChatGPT, some of the basics, right? There are some things here like Whisperflow and ChatGPT that have a lot of value. And I know there's a bunch of versions of ChatGPT now. A lot of value. Just be careful, right, when you're using them. It's not always right, but it can save you time and make you think. You're going to have a CRM. This is mine. It's GovClose. It's the one I built for my clients because they were using spreadsheets or they were using, Salesforce and just had 4 columns for opportunities, and their sales teams didn't know what the hell to do with them. So I just wanted them to have everything in there and have a way to manage it all with a dashboard that made sense. And now I'm going to talk about something that people are probably going to be like, why are you talking about Canva for government contracting? Any guesses? Any shots in the dark out there from anyone that are watching this on why I would be talking about Canva for government contracting? What possible value could Canva have? What do you think I could use Canva for in government contracting? Yeah. No, that's right. Yeah. So for starters, capability statement, right? Canva is great. Anything that is going to be graphic, right? Any graphical, anything graphical that's going to represent your company, right? You can use this to build logos, so right now we're looking at, I have my executive assistant helps me with some of our marketing. So you're looking at like our marketing. I do now, of course, I'm doing constantly, doing a lot of social media stuff in here, but capability statements. Yep. You got it right. Marketing materials, Andre said CAPE statements as well. John, yep, you're right. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, you could see, you're right. All that stuff is in here. Now, should a company, if you're a company selling to the government, do you need to be putting out things on LinkedIn or YouTube? I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't be. And let me take a step back. Serious companies about selling to the government certainly are. And I can see it. I've been part of it. They've hired me to do some of it for them. You want to be, again, when you're marketing to the government, it's a little bit different, right? We do a lot of things with conferences and whatnot, but there are some specific things here that whether you are a sales executive running a small bit, if you're running a small business, guys, whether you're a consultant helping companies sell to the government, whether you are a company selling to the government, even, or if you have a job working for a company, account executive, I'm telling you, like Canva, by the way, like up until a couple of weeks ago, I would say I use Canva more than anything else because no matter what you are doing, no matter what, let's take LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a huge, huge part of federal sales. This is where our tribe is. Here, I'm going to get off my GovClose CRM and I'm just going to go to LinkedIn for a second. I just want to point out a couple things. I'm going to go to my profile. You're optimizing. LinkedIn is where the government hangs out. It's where the public sector people hang out. It's a very professional place. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not part of LinkedIn, like start your LinkedIn profile. You can connect with me on there. I'll be your first connection if you're not on here. But you guys, I'm sure most of you have a profile. Just look at this. Okay. This is a banner, right? How do you get it to be this size? How do you design it? Well, I can go right into Canva and I can design that. What if I am, you could see these are a lot of YouTube thumbnails, but if I wanted to take a YouTube thumbnail, for instance, like this, and I wanted to take this and I wanted to make it say, I want to use it as my backboard here. How would I do that? Well, with Canva, it's very easy. I can just resize it very, very easily, right? I mean, this would tell me, in fact, I don't even think I was going to try to get the dimensions off of LinkedIn, but I can just hit resize and I could probably just say LinkedIn. Yeah, look at this. I can turn it into a LinkedIn background photo, cover image, carousel, right? So it'll automatically do, just the fact that it will do the resizing for me, I think is pretty amazing. Yeah, look at that, right? Obviously now and you can drag and drop, you can do all this stuff here. There's a lot you can do. But so whether we're talking about just optimizing your LinkedIn profile, if you want to take your picture, there's so much that we have to do as business owners, from just simple stuff like this to putting a post out there to advertising. Like everyone at some point has to get involved with advertising and marketing. Business is about sales, right? Doesn't matter if you're selling to the government or anyone else. So if I'm selling to the government, I may just be putting together my proposal for the government, right? So if I go into Canva here, I'm just going to go back up here. It says here, what kind of design do I want? What if I'm going to just type in proposal? See if it says anything. PROPOSAL. Searching for proposal. And if anybody's ever received a proposal, well, you could see here, these are private, right? But I designed my initial proposals all in Canva, right? So you can design your proposals in here. You can put a nice cover letter on there. It'll also give you templates. All right, see, proposal. So it's giving me a bunch of stuff. I mean, some of that stuff might not work for it, but you can redesign all of this stuff. And that's kind of the beauty of it. So again, if you're not using Canva, like I tell everybody in our program, like you really should at least figure out how to use the free account, because you're going to be able to use it for so much that you're doing. Everything with the government, like, you're sending sources sought, but you can design something in there and put it in front of them. If you're going to do a social media ad and you're trying to get that in front of government contracting officers or program managers, Canva, just a picture, profile picture, right? You can upload a picture into Canva and you can, here, let me go back to my home, and then I'm going to get off of here because I could really geek out about this stuff, right? But let's look at some of my recent uploads here. I'm at home. Oh, I might have to click on something that I've actually done. Let's get rid of that. Let's say that I want to add something here. Get some of our former students. Okay, this stupid picture of me, right? If I want this picture, like let's say this is it's not very, let's say it was older and kind of blurry. I could click edit and I could click upscale this image and it's going to make this a high def image, right? So this is going to remove the need for me to like have to go through and retake these pictures and stuff. So again, not to make this a total advertiser for Canva, but that's my Canva pitch. Now, I'm going to talk about something else here. That, again, right now I'm talking about tools that you may not, wow, just went right to, well, anyway, this is called Descript, all right? And Descript is a tool that you may not think of as something that you would use for government contracting. Does anybody know what Descript does? Has anybody heard of it? Yeah, John, I don't know if that's a yes for Descript or not, but if not, it doesn't matter. So Descript is where I do a lot of my video editing. And I think this is, if anybody out there is thinking about doing video, well, by the way, why would you need to do video for government contracting? Anyone? Why would you have to do video for government contracting? Have you ever seen a website? Okay, and then yeah, Andre saying he loves the auto eye correction. Yeah, no, that's good stuff. I'm about to show you guys some stuff here that, like, if you are scared of video editing or you haven't thought about it, might blow your mind. But before I even do that, let's see. Who's heard of Tradewinds? Not Tradewinds News. Here we go. So Tradewinds, acquisition ecosystem. Okay, so this is a Tradewinds Solutions marketplace, but this marketplace for government contracting, this is, look what it says here. You can post your competition pitch videos across AI, ML, digital, and data analytics space. Okay, so this is a way, yeah, training video, someone mentioned too, you can do, yeah, so you can use Descript for a lot of things. You could use video for a lot of things. Video is very powerful and it's not going away. And video is democratized now. Anyone can do it. Everyone is doing it. And so, but for government contracting, here's a very specific use case, right? If you're using the Tradewinds platform and they're asking you to post a competition pitch video, you do not need to spend $5,000-$10,000 to have somebody put this video together for you. You can use a tool like Descript. I'm going to go into my projects here and see if I can find one. I have my my niece do a lot of my editing for me, and she also just she went through GovClose, and she's now an intern with an aerospace company that sells to the government. Okay, here's one. Of course, it's telling me incompatible browser. It's telling me that because I'm using Safari. Works better with Google, and you can also do a desktop. So I'm just going to move to the desktop app to show you. So this is Descript again. Why video? We just showed you one place where, like, the government's asking you to put a pitch video in, and what you'll notice here, you should notice here. Oh, you know what? It's not. Oh, here's what I'm going to do here. I didn't realize I had to stop the screen. I'm going to share the app with you guys right now, the screen that has the app on it. Okay. What I want you to look at is right here. See all these words? This is the script. I just automatically upload the video that I shoot, and it translates everything into words. And I know this looks a little bit, I would like to be able to increase this for you, but it's not, I can't zoom in on it since it's not the website. But to edit this, all I have to do is, like, for instance, if I wanted to delete this sentence, I just highlight it and delete. Okay. But what's even cooler is, let's say that I want to put stock image on something. This has a ton of stock image on it. Like, this is AI generated. But if I wanted stock image, I can click over here. And again, you don't want to use a ton here, but if I wanted to put stock image from Descript on here, and it could say anything. Maybe I want to put the, some video of the Pentagon on here, which, by the way, all of this stuff licensed from Descript. So you don't have to worry about things like copyright and everything. These are all videos. So this is, for instance, a video of the Pentagon. I'm just going to grab it and put it on here so you can see. And so it's automatically going to put it into my video. I can also create chapters. I can, put captions since it automatically translates what I'm saying and puts it in here. If I want captions, I just click on the style of caption. It puts it on there. This has got to be the most easy video editing tool out there. One of the things that, Andre was saying, yeah, that's right. Differentiate yourself. Sure. One of the things Andre was saying, he was talking about like auto eye correction. So they have an AI tool that's built into this. Okay. And so this will do things like remove filler word. This says, you'll have to take my word for it because I can't zoom in on it right now, but this says remove filler words. So what that means is, if I'm going, and I'm probably doing it right now, this is going to be, it'll take out all the uhs. Okay. We used to, when I was a military officer coming up, especially as a company grade officer, you'd get graded on your briefings, and we would sit in the back and count the uhs of our fellow aviators. And we just thought that was a riot act to see, especially guys up there that would get nervous and be like, we're going to do this. But this automatically removes the uhs. You don't have to worry about it. It removes filler words. You can click on studio sound if your mic sucks. I did a really terrible video the other day where my mic was off. You can click on studio sound and it will level all of the audio for you. That to me is like one of the best things. Just know this does a ton of stuff. I could say generate clips. It will generate little clips that I could put out there and I could send out. But look, for putting something like the trade winds video together that we were just looking at, trade winds, the marketplace for government contracting, right? This is a great tool that you could use for something like that. So Descript, I think enough on Descript. Let's go back and take a look at the last applications and things that I have been using. If I can get onto the screen. Oh, here we go. All right. All right, so this is where we left off here. This is trade winds. And if I wanted to put the video together for my company for trade winds, then I would use Descript to do it. And I would be able to do it really quickly and it would look professional. And, you got to play with it a little bit. Like I said, I have my niece doing a lot of my editing on there. My kids can edit their stuff on there. It's really intuitive. It's really awesome. So, okay, that's Descript. And that's trade winds. Look, I'm not going to do anything in USA. I promise. I'm not going to do anything in USA spending today. I have hours and hours and hours and hours of video on USA spending, but I've got to put this up here because it's essential in government contracting and it is where the information comes from. And this combined with a couple other government tools, you're just going to have them. What I do is I have a bookmarked section of all the tools that I'm using, and it's pretty lengthy, but I always go back to USA spending. And anybody that has any questions on this, let me know. But I've got so many videos out on how we use this for things like road mapping and deciding what we're going to sell to the government, looking at the amount of competition, what agency, even pricing and things of that nature. There's a lot of information we can glean from USA spending. All right. Get my iced coffee. My iced coffee is running out. So that means that this live session is running out. All right. Next, again, another tool that I am not going to touch a button on is sam.gov. Sam.gov does a ton of stuff besides find opportunities. It's where you register your business. It's where opportunities come, out where you're going to find opportunities. So where you're going to find opportunities that come out, some of them before the solicitation, right? And again, if you want to see the ones that aren't coming out on sam.gov, like the ones that are coming out on GSA or through some of those contract vehicles, well, then you can go to, if you remember the tool, Govly. Someone was asking me for a link. I don't know if you wanted the link to Govly, but I'll throw it in there. Good group of dudes over there. Really smart. There you go. There's the Govly link for all you guys out there. Yeah. So if it's not on sam.gov, you might be able to find it using Govly, but Sam it's where you register your business. You can find sources sought, notices of contract award. You can, there's also sam.gov, blah, blah, blah. Sam.gov has these ad hoc services, meaning additional ways to research things is what that means. And it's not pretty, but there's so much information that you can get from every single contract that the government awards. Truly, truly remarkable place. And by the way, you can also set up searches in here, and you can get notified. You can get emails when new things pop up. So a lot of the features that you are going to pay other tools to do, you can do for free with sam.gov. It's just more painful. All right. So look, that's just sam.gov. And I don't think any of you guys are going to have questions on that right now. So I am going to move on. Okay. Who knows what this is? I know what it is. And I love Gov1IQ. I love it. I'm not going to go into their whole system right now. Here's what I'll say about it. Everybody doesn't need this. But for me, for market research, I haven't seen anything that can do as good of a job as Gov1IQ. And it pains me to say that a little bit because it is so expensive. But if you are in the business of doing a lot of market research, and especially for me, like when I'm cranking out roadmaps, I have a ton of tools that I can use to do this now. But especially when I first started, I paid the price and I started using Gov1IQ. And look, Gov1IQ is really, really good if you're going to be using it all the time and you know how to use it. Then it can be worth the price that you're going to pay for it. What does it do? And what does it do that, for instance, say USA Spending can't do? I'm just going to give you one example. Let's say I am trying to find out a niche for an accounting firm, right? Let's say they've hired me. I'm putting their go-to-market strategy together. I'm looking through the research. I'm telling them, hey, this is how much the government's spending. Now, look, I can use the free tools to do all of this, but one of the things that something like GovWin can do really quickly is, let's say I find a PSC code for bookkeeping. Well, in USA Spending, I can go look at the solicitations. Like, let's say there's 1,500 solicitations that came out, or that were awarded, contracts that were awarded last year. I can look at those and I can see how many proposals came in per solicitation, right? But I have to count them all up. I've got to, kind of aggregate that. With Gov1IQ, if you do a search using their federal analytics on a product service code or a NAICS code, it'll tell you the average across years of spending. It'll say, hey, average number of proposals that come in, 3. And you could check another code and say average number that comes in, 75. Average that come in, 212. Now, what I would say is, first of all, that is a great big picture on how competitive something is. And it also does a really good job of identifying the offices, not agencies, right? I can go to USA Spending and see how much the Air Force spends on roofing services or software. But if I want to know which government office does the most spending on bookkeeping services in an accounting NAICS code, Gov1IQ is really good at telling me the exact office that is doing that, and it'll rack and stack them all the way down. So there's some things it makes really fast. I always take any data point I take with a grain of salt, because keep in mind, they're pulling a tool like this, and there's other ones too. There's HireGov, which I'm going to test out here soon. These tools are only as good as the engineers that built them and the data that they're receiving. That's pretty important. Remember, they're receiving the data from USA Spending, FPDS, SAM.gov. So I'm always going back and checking, even if I'm using a tool like this, I always, especially for opportunities, because you can find opportunities with this and set up searches and alerts and all that. And there's a lot of, they have a lot of people working there, researchers, but I think that what you're going to start seeing here as more tools come out, the price for something like this will go down. And, you know, when it does, it may be the right tool for you. It's, yeah, it's really good. What can I say? Here's one, another paid for tool. It's been around for a while. So this is where we are. We started off with some of the new tools that have come out that people have asked me to test out. We looked at Teaming Pro, which is a tool for taking a look and trying to find teaming partners a little bit more quickly, I suppose. You've got Govly, which is really good because it can show you opportunities that are coming up on like these type of contract vehicles, which aren't going to be on SAM.gov, right? And you can partner. It also can help you partner with other companies on government projects. Then we got into some AI tools that aren't specifically designed for government contracting, like Whisperflow, which I use all the time, and I've used like 50 times during this video. We talked about ChatGPT, some of the pluses and minuses. I didn't talk about LinkedIn as an app or a tool, although it is a tool. It should be a tool that you're using and you have no choice but to use it if you're in the public sector space. But we talked about how something like Canva, another tool that like, hey, what the hell are you talking about Canva for with government contracting? You can use it for everything. You can optimize your profile. You can build proposal templates there. You can build your ads in it. You know, we talked about Descript, which is a video editing tool, and how you can use that on your government, your business to government videos and put something up here like on the TradeWinds marketplace, right? And there's a ton of stuff. There's a ton of reasons why you would want to have video if you are a company out there selling to the government. If you want like specific marketing, how do I market to the government video? Let me know. It just depends. That's more, that really has more to do with the size of your company and how much money you want to invest in something like that. Because in the beginning, it's going to be more, I want to market. I just want to go directly to the offices that are buying what I sell. You want to start generating those government contract or winning those contracts first, generating revenue. Then for brand awareness, there's some things you can do, like specific conferences. I have some very specific criteria that I need to meet in order to spend money on going to a conference. We talked about like the government tools that you just have to have. You have to suffer through them. Some of the paid for tools, this is very expensive, but very good. Now we're all the way to GovTribe. GovTribe is good at a few things. In my opinion, one of the things that this tool is really good at is if you're trying to determine how much spending goes on, you know, not just from different agencies, it gives you a good snapshot of like, say, hey, if I put that accounting code in, it'll give me a good snapshot of which agencies are doing the spending, what set-asides receive the spending, what big business versus small business versus STV, OSB, 8A. Really good at that, but there's a few other things. And the one that I really love is gives me a breakdown of, okay, well, if it was $100 billion spent this year, how much of it goes on to GSA versus NASA SOUP versus any other contract vehicle, category management. It does a really good job with that. So yeah, that's GovTribe. Again, I'm not gonna click through that one, but that is a really good tool. There's a couple other tools that I use a lot. Now we talked about, I use the GovClose CRM. I didn't bring that back up, but hey, for training, hey, what Rick Howard video would be complete without me telling you about our training and our awesome community of people in the GovClose program. This is, hey, you got an answer, you got a question, we can go to the, you know, we can go to the GovClose community page where we got all of our students. We've got our on-demand training. We have our coaching calls. We have our reach out. Let's see here. We got another question. Do you recommend it in conjunction with GovWin, or is it duplicative? I think your meaning is GovTribe duplicative, not, my self-serving hawking of my training program. I think it's that's a tough one. I had both at one point, and they are duplicative. But again, they both do, like, there are a couple things that each of them do really well that the other doesn't. And um, so I think what I would tell you is that it depends on what you're using these tools for, right? Do you just need a tool that finds opportunities and lets you know? That's because most companies, frankly, they need something that's good at, hey, yes, I need to find source of sought. I need to know when the solicitation's coming out. I want to set up a search and just be notified. And I don't think you need to spend $15,000 a year on anything to do that. Sam.gov can do a little bit of that for free. Then when you have the revenue coming in, I would say that I don't even know that GovTribe is the best at that. I think it does it, right? But again, what are you using it for? And then make your decision and try out some of these new tools, right? A lot of the students in my program right now, they're talking about HireGov. A lot of them are using that. So look, I would check that one out. And I didn't want to put it on here because haven't even opened it yet, but eventually I'm going to, and I'll let you know what I think, but I'm hearing good things about it. So that is a good one. And okay, I got another question here. Oh, David, you're coming up with the questions. What are my thoughts on the following? I am waiting on bated breath. What do we got? Project and program management. Oh, ERP and accounting tools. Yeah. I didn't plan on going over any of those right now. And then I think what we're talking about, expense management. I mean, you've got the right idea here. And for everyone watching, a lot of the tools that I have gone over in the context of what I've gone over has been very specific to finding opportunities with the government, maybe writing proposals, forming teaming, but all of that is the sales process, right? The business development process. And what David is asking is, in what I would tell you is, the real work starts when you actually win a contract with the US government. No question, right? Because now we have all of these things that we have to do that we didn't have to do before, right? You may have something like CMMC compliance, where now you're working with government tools like SPRS. You are going to need accounting tools like David's talking about here, and expense management and other things that are just going to help you run the contracts. And I think that it would help if I might do an entire episode on the type of tools that you're going to use and what you're going to have to go through once you're on contract with the government, and what are the best practices out there. There are also there are companies out there that just focus on providing small businesses, the revenue they need to pay their folks while they're waiting to get paid by the government. This is something that a lot of people don't think about, is that, if you're invoicing the government, it doesn't happen right away. You don't get paid right away. But especially if you have subcontractors, you got to pay your subcontractors, right? You got to pay them. You got to have the revenue to do that. Yeah, David, you need, of course, there are tools for expense management and accounting tools. I'm not going to get into them here, but yeah, tools for project management also. Yeah, those are some really good ideas. And by the way, David, if you've got tools that you like to use for those things, let me know, and we can take a look at them. Folks, I've enjoyed our time here today. We are getting closer and closer to happy hour at the Howard House. I've got a British pub built into my basement. I didn't build it. I'm not a psychopath, but the people that I bought the house from, they built a British pub down here, and I take advantage of it. You're not a psychopath if you built a British pub in your basement. I love the British pub. So everyone, have a great weekend. Let me know if there's specific topics you want me to cover in the future. Hopefully this gave you some insight as to the things that I use. I think I talked more about Whisperflow than anything else. But next time we'll go into some topics and some tech maybe for how we manage contracts versus how we actually go after them and win them. All right. Oh, hey, and by the way, go to govclose.com if you're thinking about training for your sales team, for yourself. If you want to start a consulting business that helps companies sell to the government, we don't just train government contracting. We teach you how to build a consulting business, get clients, and get paid. You want an account executive job? Same thing. We're teaching you the process and we're teaching you how to go get that job. And of course, the whole thing, if you have a company and you're selling to the government and you want to learn our philosophy and our process and not just learn how to do it, but you're working with us, right? This is a year-long training program. It's a community. And, most people right now are telling me it's just the community would be worth the price of admission, never mind everything else. So have a great week.
After going through the course, I was able to land a client that pays me a monthly retainer to actually help them develop their business and go after these federal contracts.
I was able to get a consulting gig with a software company that currently works with the intelligence community.
Within 2 months, I had my first client. So the initial contract was for a 3-month contract for $4,000 a month.
So 27 years old, you've never worked in government contracting, you've never worked as a consultant, and you just closed your first deal, is that correct? That's fair. And I've got a couple small projects on the side as well, so definitely probably my best investment I've made all year.
A cold call landed a 9-figure government contract.
Start a consulting business and a high salaried position as a account executive in public sales. So you're doing both of those things.
I'm living the best of both worlds right now.
So my name is Mike Knickerbocker. I am a naval officer that's getting ready to retire. Right now, I have 3 firm clients and 2 more perspectives. I'm able to provide value across different industries because the skill set that I learned through the course, I was able to apply my own experience.
GovClose came and it was a no-brainer. I wanted some secret sauce.
This has allowed me to live in Germany. It's a little hazy today, but we can do that. You see? Oh yeah, dude, that's beautiful.
The content, the training, it's invaluable. It's written.
And Deb, what motivated you to join the GovClose certification program?
Wow. Well, I think that wanting to work with a leader in the field, someone who understands government contracting on a deep basis and has the reputation, the experience working with you and your company was a natural.
The students that graduate our program, they go on to start their own consulting firms, winning high dollar consulting clients. They go on to land high-paying salaried positions as account executives with companies that sell to the government. I'm so proud of the people that have gone through our program. And if you are considering either a job or a business, and by the way, some of our students are doing both, as I did. They're running a consulting business and they'll have an account executive job. It's transforming their lives. It's bringing true wealth to them and their families. Back to the video.